When your dog follows you everywhere, do you actually know what they're trying to tell you? Yes, it's sweet. It makes you feel loved. But behind that behavior, there's something much deeper that most owners never stop to think about. They're communicating something urgent, something ancient, and something so personal that it only exists between the two of you. And if you keep brushing it off as clinginess, which most owners do without realizing, you might be missing the most honest conversation your dog has ever tried to have with you. Let's start with the one that changes everything. 1. You are their entire world, and that's not a figure of speech. Have you ever thought about what your dog's life actually looks like when you're not paying attention? They don't have a job, they don't have friendships outside your home, they don't have goals, errands, or distractions. They have you. That's it. You are the singular most important thing in your dog's entire existence. And following you isn't just affection, it's biology. Dogs evolved over thousands of years not just to live alongside humans, but to need them. A study published in the journal Science found that when dogs and their owners make eye contact, both experience a surge in oxytocin, the same bonding hormone released between a mother and her newborn baby. That's not metaphor, that's chemistry. So when your dog gets up every single time you move, when you go to the kitchen, when you walk to the bathroom, when you shift from one room to another, they're not being needy. They're following the one thing their entire nervous system is wired to stay close to you. And here's what makes this even more powerful. There's one specific moment in the day when your dog's following behavior reveals something about their emotional state that most owners completely overlook. We'll get to that near the end of this video. And once you know what to look for, you'll never see your dog the same way again. 2. They're not following you. They're protecting you. Have you ever noticed that your dog doesn't just follow you? They follow you closely, like right behind your heels, sometimes so close you nearly trip over them. Most owners laugh it off. Some find it annoying, but that specific behavior, staying within touching distance, has a name in animal behavior research. It's called shadowing, and it's not random. Dogs are pack animals, and in a pack, the most vulnerable members are never left alone, ever. When your dog presses close behind you as you move through the house, they're doing what thousands of years of instinct tells them to do. They're keeping the bond intact. They're making sure you don't disappear from their sight. Because in their mind, distance equals danger. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna found that dogs display significantly higher stress indicators when separated from their primary attachment figure, even by just a single room. Not hours or days, just one room. Think about that. Your dog feels the loss of you the moment you're out of sight. And here's what nobody talks about. The dogs you follow closest aren't the weakest dogs. They're often the most bonded, the most emotionally invested, the ones who have decided, completely and without reservation, that wherever you go, that's where they belong. 3. The room they follow you into tells you everything. Pay close attention to this one because most owners have never thought about it this way. Your dog follows you everywhere, but do they follow you the same way into every room? Or do you notice subtle differences? Rooms where they rush in ahead of you, where they hesitate at the door, where they plant themselves right in the middle and watch your every move. Those differences are not random, they're emotional data. Animal behaviorists have observed that dogs map their home into zones of safety, anxiety, and neutrality based on what happens in each space. The kitchen, where food comes from high excitement, high positive association. The bedroom, where you sleep and they feel most connected to your scent, deeply comforting. The front door area, the most emotionally loaded spot in the entire house. If your dog follows you to the front door and then freezes, sits, or starts pacing, that's not them being dramatic. That's anticipatory anxiety. Their brain has learned that this spot is where you disappear. And no matter how many times you've come back, that fear never fully goes away. And if you really think about it, that's not a behavior problem. That's love with nowhere to put itself. 4. When they follow you more than usual, listen closely. Has your dog ever had a day where they won't leave your side? Like, more than normal, closer than usual. Following you into rooms they normally ignore, sitting right on your feet, resting their head on your lap every time you sit down. Most owners think, oh, they just want attention today. But here's what's actually happening. Dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to human emotional states. A landmark study from the University of London found that dogs approach people who are crying significantly more than people who are talking or humming. And they approached with submissive, comforting body language regardless of whether it was their owner or a complete stranger. Your dog doesn't need you to say a word. They read your cortisol levels through scent. They track your breathing patterns. They notice when your movements slow down, when your voice drops, when your energy shifts, and when something feels off with you. When you're anxious, grieving, overwhelmed, or just quietly not okay. Their following behavior intensifies. They can't fix what's wrong. They know that, but they refuse to let you carry it alone. So on the days your dog seems glued to you for no reason, think back. Think about what kind of day it's been, because there's a very real chance your dog noticed something about how you were feeling before you even fully registered it yourself. 5. The dog who stops following you is telling you something urgent. What if one day your dog just stops? The dog who has followed you from room to room for years suddenly stays on the couch, doesn't get up when you move, watches you go without following. Most owners assume they're tired, maybe getting older, maybe just having an off day. But veterinary behaviorists tell us something different. When a dog who has always been a shadow suddenly pulls back, that's one of the earliest and most commonly missed signs that something is wrong. Dogs instinctively hide pain and illness. It's a survival mechanism inherited from their wild ancestors, where showing weakness meant vulnerability to predators. So they won't whimper. They won't limp dramatically. They won't ask for help. But they will stop following, because following takes energy. Following requires motivation. And when a dog's body or mind is struggling, that motivation quietly disappears before any other symptom shows up. If your dog has pulled back from their usual shadowing behavior and it lasts more than a couple of days, especially combined with changes in appetite, sleep, or eye contact, don't wait. That's your dog whispering that something is wrong in the only language they have. The owners who catch it early are almost always the ones who are paying close enough attention to notice when the following stops. 6. The moment that reveals everything about your bond. Remember at the beginning when I said there's one specific moment in the day when your dog's following behavior reveals something most owners completely overlook? This is it. Watch what your dog does the moment you wake up. Not when you call them, not when you open the food container. Before any of that, the moment your eyes open and you begin to move. What does your dog do? Dogs who are deeply, securely bonded to their owner don't just follow them through the day. They wait for the day to start. Research on canine sleep cycles shows that many bonded dogs actually lighten their sleep in the early morning hours, unconsciously matching their owner's sleep pattern, so they're ready the moment you stir. So if your dog is already watching you before you've said a word, already getting up before you've swung your legs off the bed, already there before you've decided where you're going, that's not